I think this is a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals. What will you have your eye on in this game today?
I want to see how the Nets defense handles two big wing stars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, because if there's one thing that makes me just a little nervous about the Nets is, are they going to be able to get enough stops, and who other than KD do they have to guard those bigger wings that dominate the playoffs? Is Taurean Prince going to step up Jeff Green, or are they going to trend small and just try to get by? But Nets defense is one of the biggest storylines of the season.
You know, Big Perk, I said all year, if KD is fully healthy, the Nets should be the favorites in the Eastern Conference. I know it's only one game, but he looked awfully good. In your mind, is Brooklyn, Kendrick Perkins, the team to beat in the Eastern Conference this quickly?
Absolutely, Greeny. KD is back. He looks 100% healthy. He's back to being that elite scorer that we once seen before his injury. And when you look at the Brooklyn Nets, I don't care if Kyrie had been, doing his saging and sitting Indian style. That don't even matter. When he get between those lines, he's a walking bucket. And then when you look at the others on the team, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, Derek Allen, and most importantly, Harris LeVert. I love the way that they're using him as a six-man off the bench. He is a guy that could come in and give you 20 a night, and I love the makeup of their team. They got one of the deepest rosters in the NBA, and I'm with you, Greeny. The Brooklyn Nets are coming out of the East.
You know, we had a debate earlier this week, Zach, about the pressure that is on them. Do you feel like it's finals or bust for the Nets, year one?
Year one, it's tough. I mean, that's tough to be finals or bust when we have to see how KD looks 30, 40 games in. But I agree with you guys. I think people slept on the Nets because of the soap opera aspects of the Instagram Live. This team is awesome. They're deep. They can play a lot of different styles. And if it's not finals or bust, it's close, because to me, they and the Bucks are the favorites in the East. And we've seen what's happened to the Bucks in the last two playoffs. And we know what KD does in the playoffs.
All right, so that's the Eastern Conference story today. Let's go to the West in a fascinating matchup again between the Lakers and the Mavericks. Kendrick, what's one thing you have your eye on in that game?
Anthony Marshawn Davis Jr. And here's why. The Dallas Mavericks do not have an answer for him in the inside. And I think Anthony Davis should have a monster night today on Christmas Day. He's a generational talent, Greeny, who could dominate. He got a post moves on each block, right or left shoulder jump hooks. He could take you out, shoot the three-point shot. They don't have anybody to guard him, so he should have one of those Wilt Chamberlain-type nights and have one of those epic performances. I'm keeping a close eye on Anthony Davis.
Zach, I spent a very enjoyable hour at the beginning of this week reading your NBA season preview, and you have the Lakers. You put teams in tiers, and you have the Lakers on a tier all to themselves. Why? Why are they so much better in your mind than anybody else?
Well, they just rampaged through the bubble. They got better. They got a shot creator in Dennis Schroeder, which was an ingredient they really needed to have. I think Marc Gasol, if he just has one more good year in him, is a perfect fit with their starting five. They can play big, but with shooting to clear the lane for LeBron and AD. And Greeny, the two teams that were supposed to challenge the Lakers, it was three contenders all year. They were all equal. The Clippers, the Bucks, they fell on their faces in the playoffs. And when that happens to you, you just got to prove it. And when the Lakers, they don't have to prove anything. They already proved it. The bubble was a tough, adverse environment. They rose up. Those other teams fell on their faces. Yeah, they got better. Drew Holiday's a huge addition. Serge Ibaka's a perfect fit for the Clippers. But we got to see how those teams respond when someone hits them in the face in the playoffs. We know how the Lakers responded already.
Meanwhile, Big Perk, the betting favorite for MVP this year is Luka Doncic. I picked him myself, but I saw in the notes you have a concern. What is your concern for Luka Doncic as this season begins?
Well, Greeny, first of all, Luka is an absolute stud. I think he is a superstar, and he will win the MVP. Probably not this season, but I'm looking at Luka right now, and he needs to get in better shape. I thought he would focus more on his body this offseason and come in a little chiseled up. I understand he has a whack body. Let me give you a definition of a whack body, Greeny. It's a term that we use in the NBA for guys like myself, Paul Pierce, Big Glenn Baby Davis that played the game. No matter how hard you work, you could never get that six-pack or get ripped up with some strong biceps, but you can get in great shape. And I think if Luka want to take that next jump and be that elite superstar and be able to sustain it, he has to get in better shape, in my opinion.
Yes, he has to be built less like Big Perk and more like Zach Lowe if he's going to wind up winning an MVP.
Oh,
Guys, stay close.
no.
We will have. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.